Now for Corporal CLB, who hears command performance at 5:30 p.m. Sundays. That's Iceland time. We're happy to present Parkyakarkas. Parky, we're glad to see you, but what are you doing in that soldier's uniform? I didn't know you were in the Army.
Oh, sure. How you like that uniform?
Well, it fits you a little too soon, doesn't it? Yeah. Didn't they have one your size?
Well, you can laugh the way this uniform fits if you want, but I'm happy with I got anything to wear.
Well, what happened?
I'll tell you what happened. Last month, before I joined the Army, I was walking down the street in my civilian clothes, minding my own business in my own repulsive way. When all of a sudden a fellow walks up to me and says, "Say, don't you be Parkyakarkas?" And I said, "Yes." He says, "I'll toss you for your shoes." He'll toss me for my shoes. Well, that sounded like a fair proposition. After all, he had as much sense to lose what I had, so I tossed him. So I'm walking around barefoot. So I'm walking down the street, and a little kid comes up to me. The kid says, "Say, don't you be Parkyakarkas?" I said, "Yes." He says, "I'll hold your overcoat for a dime." I said, "What do I need you to hold my overcoat?" He says, "Well, it's hot, ain't it?" Well, it was a little warm. So I give him my coat. He says, "Where's the dime?" Well, I didn't happen to have a dime. He says, "You don't expect me to trust strangers, do you?" I says, "No, that sounded reasonable." So he says, "All right, I'll hold your coat for a deposit." So I'm walking down the street barefooted and no coat. And I'm passing by a clothing store, and a fellow standing outside, he says, "Say, don't you be Parkyakarkas?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "I got it all ready for you." I said, "You got what all ready for me?" He said, "That suit, what you're going to buy." I said, "I don't want a suit, and besides, I don't got no money." He says, "All right, in that case, I'll buy your suit." He says, "How much you want for it?" I said, "How could I sell this suit? It's the only suit I got." He says, "Listen, every man's got his price, ain't he?" Well, that sounded like good common sense. So I says, "Well, I suppose he has." He says, "All right, how much you think with that suit what you got on is worth?" Well, I look at my suit. It's kind of an old suit. I says, "I don't know, maybe $10. He says, "So." Well, what could I do? A sale is a sale. So I took off my suit and I give it to him. But he don't give me the money. I says, "Hey, where's the $10? He says, "What do you mean, where's the $10? Where you going to put $10? You don't got no pockets." I says, "What do you want me to do?" He says, "Come back when you have pockets." Well, the man was right. Wouldn't I look silly walking down the street in my underwear carrying $10 in my hand? So I'm walking down the street, no shoes, no coat, no suit. And all the people is staring on me. You think they never seen a fellow wearing glasses before. Well, it was late in the afternoon. It started to get a little bit chilly. The breeze was hitting me right between Sunset and Santa Monica. Just then I happened to pass an Army recruiting office. So I figured I could join the Army, and at the same time I'll get some clothes to wear. That's how I got in the Army, but it's wonderful and I love it. Yes, sir, the last 3 weeks has been the most wonderful 7 years I've spent in my life. And am I lucky, because in my company we happen to have the most important man in the whole world. My top sergeant. The first day I got into camp, I wanted to talk to him. I like to be sociable to everybody, including human beings. I went right up to this fellow. I says, "Good morning, Sergeant." He says, "Don't talk to me because I don't speak to anybody less than a sergeant, lower than a sergeant." I said to him, "What is lower than a sergeant?" Well, we both had a good laugh over that one. 10 days later, when I got out of the brig, they gave me a furlough, and that's how I happened to come to Hollywood. And Mr. Robinson?
Yes, Parky?
I just want to tell you that I think that Hollywood is a wonderful place.
Well, I'm glad you like it, Parky.
Yes, sir. The people here, they're so congenial. They're so fair-minded. Why, just this morning I was walking down the street, and a total stranger came over to me, put his arm around me, and says, "Don't you be Parkyakarkas?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I'll toss you for your shoes." Can you imagine a guy trying to pull that old gag on me?
Well, what happened?
Could you let me take a pair of sneakers till Friday?
Thank you, Parkyakarkas. And now, in response to requests from practically every place American fighting men are quartered, America's #1 dance orchestra Glenn Miller. Thank you, Edward G. Robinson, and hello to the Army, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard. We're going to play the number most of you have requested, A String of Pearls.